switching now over to the NBA. I've had a couple days to cope with it. It's very depressing. The defending champions, my Los Angeles Lakers, have been bounced from the playoffs. They have lost 4-2 to the Phoenix Suns. They lost in Staples Center. The Suns winning 3 straight games to close out that series after the Lakers took a 2-1 lead. I can at least say that I was there to witness the last win of the season for the Lakers, which I guess is pretty cool. But yeah, that I did not imagine that it would stop there. But the Suns, of course, I mean, Devin Booker, I mean, what more can you say? I mean, it really was like, I couldn't even be mad. Like, if a guy's going to make 7 of 8 threes to start the game, I really don't know what you want, especially when our second best player gets hurt in 5 minutes into the game, and he never should have played. I don't know what our trainers, what is you doing there? I don't understand that one. But yeah, that was very bad. So the defending champs are, of course, they are out of the playoffs now, and the Suns are now doing battle with the Denver Nuggets, who took out the Portland Trail Blazers, winning their series 4-2 as well, leading to a lot of speculation regarding around Damian Lillard, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But the Nuggets advancing there. Also sticking with the West, the Jazz won their series in 5 games, beating out the Grizzlies, and the Clippers in epic fashion won their series 4-3 in a great Game 7, all around by their players, taking out the Dallas Mavericks. So that's how we shaped up the West in the semi-conference finals. And then, of course, over in the East, you have the 76ers. They finished up the Washington Wizards 4-1. The Hawks also won 4-1, taking out the New York Knicks. The Celtics falling 4-1 to the Brooklyn Nets. And then Milwaukee, the only team to sweep in the first round, beating the Miami Heat 4-0. But right now, it's not looking too good for them as they found themselves down 2-0, as Connor alluded to earlier, get absolutely murdered in Game 2. Game 1 was back and forth for a little bit, but it was clear Brooklyn was probably going to win that one as well. And then you have the Atlanta Hawks going into Philadelphia, getting a big-time upset the other day, taking a 1-0 lead in that series as well.
Can I just add?
What? Yeah, real quick.
Monte told me Nate McMillan was not the guy.
He did say that, and
I told him.
It's been nothing but downhill since that. That is a freezing cold take.
I told him.
That belongs on freezing cold takes. That man has been taking that team to a whole different level. So my question to you guys to get this section started, what, now that we have the second round, what is the series you're most excited for? And what are your like key factors or X factors that you think could possibly change the series, East or West, or if you have one for both?
Oh, for me, West has got to be Suns Nuggets. I mean, I was super impressed with the Nuggets, being able to, without Jamal Murray, what they've done. But now they have to go against the Suns, who, I mean, the Suns are just, you've seen what they've done all season long, and they just beat the defending champion. So I'm a little nervous for the Nuggets because their guard play has been so shaky because, I mean, the injuries, obviously, and no Jamal Murray. And look what they let Damian Lillard. I mean, Damian Lillard just had one of the best series I've seen. And obviously he can't carry a team all the way, but he did the best he could. But the Suns also have great guard play with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And I'm nervous for this. So I'd say my X factor for that series is how well the Denver guards can hold up against Chris Paul and Devin Booker, because they could not stop Damian Lillard. CJ McCollum really kind of struggled a bit in a couple games, and I think that kind of made the difference. But if the 1-2 of Devin Booker and Chris Paul, that's going to be my X factor. If the Nuggets can slow them down, they have a chance, but otherwise they're going to have a long series.
As I watch the game right now, I'd say that's a great pick by Creed for most exciting series, as this first half has been all gas, 0 breaks. I'm pumped for this series, but I'm going to stick out West too. I'm going to go with the Jazz and the Clippers. The Clippers. Oh, my bad. I just heard the message. The Clippers, they were severely tested yet again for the second season in a row by Luka Doncic and the Mavs. Shout out to Luka for his series, even the Game 7 performance with 46 and 14. Incredible series by them. The Clippers, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was pretty unreal how easy he makes pretty much everything he does look, but especially against a team that's this good defensively. And that's my X factor is the Clippers defense, because what a lot of people don't want to tell you about the Jazz is they're actually the best shooting team in the league. The stat on the Jazz this year that I'm most impressed with, they haven't had a single game this season as a team where they haven't hit double-digit threes. Against Memphis, they hit double-digit threes in 3 of the 5 first halves played. So the Utah Jazz, they shoot the ball at a ridiculously high rate. They're very efficient. They have a superstar. We saw him in the postseason last year, and he wasn't slowing down this year, even after missing 17 straight games leading up to it. Donovan Mitchell's a star. Gobert's an anchor inside that the Clippers are going to have to deal with a lot. They stopped playing Zubac, but they got a good test against the Mavs. When the Mavs brought in Boban, they got to see how to defend him. You know, I think this is such an evenly matched series. And honestly, the X factor for me, it is the Clippers on defense, the Jazz on offense. But really, it's going to be between the two. Lou outcoaches Quinn Snyder. I think the Clippers are going to win this series. And I think they're going to make the Jazz, for the first time all year, look bad. But Ty Lue, man, in that last series, there were a lot of moments where I was just left shaking my head at some of the things they did defensively. And he figured it out late in the series. He figured it out in Game 6 and Game 7. But if it takes you to Game 6 or Game 7 against the Jazz, you might already be too late. I mean, they had the best record for a reason. I'm super amped for this series. And if I had to give a prediction for this series, I'm going to take the Utah Jazz. I'm taking the Utah Jazz to win the series based on all-around team play, contributions from all over the place. The 6th man of the year. I'm going to go in 6 games. I don't think think people are afraid to go into Staples Center and win games. We saw the Mavericks weren't. So I do not believe it's too unreasonable to think that they can't close it out in LA. I think Utah is a very tough place to play, and I am just so excited for that series. I would have said the Nets and Bucks, but we already know how that's going.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
I would have to agree with you, Toby. I think that, and really, here's the thing too, because I feel like a lot of people just look at stuff and then they don't actually like watch the games. Like if you sat down and watched that there's really nothing different. That now they played Luka a little bit tighter and doubled him in those last couple games, but overall the Clippers didn't do a whole lot defensively like different. The Mavericks just didn't hit shots. In Game 7, the Mavericks shot 10 of 36 from 3, while the Clippers shot 20 of 43. That's the difference in the game. The Clippers shot almost 50%, while the Mavericks shot barely 20%. And that wasn't from, and if you watch the game, that wasn't from just an unbelievable scheme defensively. It's just the Mavericks were missing shots, something they haven't done the whole series in Staples Center, at least, because they had won the previous 3 games on the road. They just were missing shots because Luka was doing a great job distributing the ball, and they just were not making it. And I think I agree with you. I think that's something the Jazz will not do, and I think they're going to blow them off the court in some games. The Clippers will get it figured. They're not just going to get swept, but I think in certain games that the Clippers lose, I think they will get mauled. Like I think they will get absolutely killed. If the Jazz are feeling it, they're going to blow them out. There were too many times Tim Hardaway Jr. was just wide open. Just no one there. Same with Dorian Finney-Smith, and the Jazz will make those threes, and they know how to play at home. Something that the Mavericks had the chance to do to close out the series. So I agree with you there. I am really excited I'm most excited for the 76ers Hawks series, because that can just
Trae
go
Young
different ways. Trae Young and company, just unbelievable. And I feel like that series still all resides on the health of Joel Embiid, which can change in a moment's notice. So, if he's 100% healthy, I think the 76ers probably, even though they lost game 1, can still win in 6 games. but he gets banged up at
He's
all.
never. Yeah.
I mean, if he gets any type of game, he has to leave a game early or has to have certain games where he's just not like can play all the minutes. I just don't trust the 76ers to close out a series without him. So I think that can easily go to like a game 7 if they're not careful. So I'm really excited to see that. And I guess my X factor would be Joel Embiid's health. I mean, if he's healthy, I think that they could win this series in 6 games. I think Atlanta probably could still win at home or win another at home. But if he's questionable at all, this could be 7, and I would not be surprised to see the Hawks win this. They're scrappy. They can shoot the ball very well, and man, they're exciting to watch.
And I will say this too, Embiid, we weren't sure about his health going into game 1. He still finished with 39 points in that game, almost led an unbelievable comeback. I mean, if the 76ers would have come back and won that game,
Moving overall,
we would probably not even be talking about this series. But the fact that the Hawks hung on, Embiid, he looked amazing still, and the Hawks still got it done. I don't know.
The Hawks are looking really good.
The McMillan.
Well, Trae Young has taken over to a whole different level. He's like Jamal Murray from last year's playoff. He's just hit a new level. I mean, he killed the Knicks, and Julius Randle looked like Tony Snell out there.
Sheesh.
That's the last person you want to be is Tony Snell.
Hey, that's Tony Snell, 50, 50, and 90 a year.
Yeah. I mean, Julius Randle really he had one of those playoffs where we criticize star players because they'd have a great regular season. They'd show up for the playoffs and disappear, and that's pretty much exactly what he did. But then Trae Young did the opposite. He got even better come playoff time. And I don't know, with the way Nate McMillan can coach and Trae Young, I wouldn't be surprised to see them beat the 76ers in 6.
Yeah.
I will say this too. I think my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off, but about Trae Young is a super interesting player to watch because I think he does a lot of things that are obviously tremendous. Then he'll do some things like late in that game, the turnovers, a lot of like flashier passes that sometimes come back to bite him. But what I love about Trae Young is how much he embraces being the bad guy. And when you go to Philadelphia to play in a series, you want to embrace that villain sort of mentality. You can't be weak going into Philadelphia, like weak mentally, because the fans there are just going to crush you anywhere up in the Northeast.
Yeah,
and Trae Young
like
to
New
do
York.
it right, and Trae Young to do it in New York, to take all of that the Knicks fans were giving him, then to give it back to the Knicks twofold, 2-over. I think he is really built for the playoffs for moments like this. The younger generation of stars that we're talking about right now, the Doncic's, the Bookers, the Youngs, they are really built for this postseason ball. And I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I really hope this. I really, really hope that this series goes 7, because I would want nothing more than a Game 7 crowd in Philly, Trae Young embracing that atmosphere, Embiid, he's obviously going to do his talking and everything.
You know what happened last time Philly hosted a Game 7?
Kawhi happened.
Kawhi happened.
The most unreal thing I've ever seen in my life is what happened.
Wait, no, they didn't host that.
Oh, that wasn't. I thought that was in.
No, that was
Toronto. But
that
still,
was
that was the last Game 7 though. Yeah.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and that led to the NBA champion. There, real quick too, before we end the NBA section, there were 3 awards handed out this past week, with Julius Randle of the Knicks winning Most Improved Player of the Year. Utah Jazz's Jordan Clarkson, Mizzou made, won 6th Man of the Year, and you had New York's head coach as well, Tom Thibodeau, winning Coach of the Year. Do you guys have any disputes with any of those 3 awards being handed out?
I mean, I think they're all well deserved. Given the playoffs, I feel like Julius Randle maybe lost that award.
Hey, look,
should be taken
most
away.
Regular season player.
But yeah, since it's only regular season, we can't take that award away. I agree, and I'm glad we got the 6th Man of the Year right for once and didn't just give it to a guy who's usually a 6th man. They actually chose the best one this time.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson, man. Where was that at on the Lakers?
Yeah,
Heck,
seriously.
we maybe not had to trade half our roster for AD if he was doing that.
No, that's two in the players, both of the award winners, former Lakers there. But yeah,
That's true.
Randall, Wright, Clarkson, the right pick. Interesting on Thibodeau, the coaches, when they voted, they actually voted for Monty Williams of the Phoenix Suns.
Which I'm
Tom
also
Thibodeau
I would have
wins.
been fine with that as well.
I
Yeah.
was fine with that too. You could have gone with really McMillan for me. Thibodeau was a good
Yeah.
choice.
Snyder?
Quinn Snyder could have won it. I mean, there was a lot of coaches that I thought were viable
I
options.
think just if you look at it, the Knicks to start the season had no superstars, no nothing.
Yeah. And they've
And-
been bad so long.
Yeah, and he built them. I mean, well, history doesn't play a role in that, but like
It
the
does,
te-
but for New
if you
York, I
look-
feel like
if you look at like the teams to start the season before we had all this knowledge about how the season was gonna go, you looked at the Knicks. Okay, the Hawks. Well, even the Hawks we thought would be pretty decent.
yeah.
Now we didn't anticipate their coach getting fired mid-season, but we thought the Knicks or the Hawks actually be a decent team. The Jazz and the Suns we thought would be pretty good. The Knicks was out of left field, and not only were they good, they were a top 4 seed. So I would have been perfectly fine with those other names that we named. I think that they got it right just because he had no like legit star to work with. Helped Julius Randle become an all-star. Get his first All-Star appearance, All-Star game appearance, and the fact that they were a top 4 seed is pretty remarkable.
He took a roster that was only power forwards and brought him to the playoffs.
Yeah, they hate guards. Nothing but 3s and 4s on that team, and then they got Derrick Rose.
I was kind of hoping they wouldn't win a single playoff game just because, the whole Pacers don't like the Knicks thing, but they did win one, so, good for them.
Yeah, and those fans were going nuts. Their responses to Trae Young, that video is so funny.
They hate that man.
I'm not going to repeat anything that they said on that video, because we probably would get taken down off YouTube. So
We needed Trae Young to do the Reggie Miller choking thing to the crowd.
no, I think they abused him enough.
He missed his chance.
Yeah.
He did, and Spike Lee even left early.
All right, well, we'll leave it at that for the NBA.